It's full body fun time. Get your whole self ready, head to toe. Coach Jelena right here. Amazing, ready to work you. Fit Body Boot Camp, of course. Do it, don't quit. Okay, let's get our first warm up in. Lateral reach, so we're gonna go for a wide stance. Reach over the top. Oh, if your lats are sore, your obliques are sore, they will tell you during this stretch, but give them a little expansion. It's gonna feel nice. Woohoo! All right, welcome everybody. We have 4 stations today, 2 exercises at each of those stations. We're gonna go for 35 seconds each exercise and 3 rounds, and we're gonna have a heck of a good time, just like we always do. Whew. Whenever I say something's fun, I feel like everybody's all like, oh no. Fun doesn't equal pain. We're doing a squat and twist, by the way. Squat and twist. Nice. Flex legs, but not super locked out for that twist. Getting a nice torso twist in. And sitting those hips back for the squat. Keeping the heels down. Last few seconds on your squat and twist. And we're going to move into skis. So it doesn't look too ski-ish as far as snow skiing goes or water skiing. But you get a little exchange of the feet and a pump of the arms. If that's confusing or you need to take out a little bit of that impact, no problem. Tap back behind you and still get that nice fist pump to the sky. Woohoo! There we go. All right, we're doing good. Back in it right here. Pump those arms. Switch those legs. Last few seconds. All right, star jacks are a narrow squat and then a jumping jack with the legs. So keeping my chest up, getting that narrow squat, and then that jumping jack. So just to show you that, if you need to modify, give me that narrow squat, keeping your chest up so I could see the logo on your shirt there versus hinging forward and looking down. Let's keep that one out of it and switch it up for that good posture. Reach down. If you're real flexible, you could maybe even reach those ankles, feet, floor even. Lateral reach is next, maybe when you're a little bit warmer as well. All right, keep going with this one. I'm gonna show you your moves for today. So we have a cobra on your back here for the first one. So we're gonna have bent knees, feet planted. We're gonna circle it around. Watch out for your cord and your mic pack there. We're gonna circle it around and then circle it back the other way. So we're making a clockwise circle and a counterclockwise circle. You're moving on to your squat and twist. If you need to modify this one, instead of doing like a circle sit up, you're gonna do a circle crunch one way and then the other. For this one, try to keep your abs on versus releasing and letting go in between. Keep it on, up and around, keep it up and around. All right, then we're gonna flip it over for a high plank toe touch. Feet are separated, hands are underneath the shoulders. Here's your high plank. Try to make sure your hips aren't dipping low. That's gonna put pressure on your low back. And your hips aren't high up in the air. That's gonna give you a head rush and strain the shoulders over time. Go into your skis. So you're in a high plank position, nice and flat. You're gonna pick up your hips, reach your right hand towards your left foot, then come back to that plank, then left hand towards right foot and back. If you can't quite reach, that's okay. Aim for your knee. When you pick those hips up, you're coming into an upside down V and then back into that plank. All right, so that's station 1. We'll be working with weights for station 2. You're moving on to your star jacks, everybody. Get jacked with those stars. So a goblet squat, you can press the weights together, or if you have one heavy weight, this is a true goblet hold there. So I'm not rounding my shoulders and I have good engagement in the back there. So if you have 2 weights, you can kind of press them together here and just getting a squat in, sitting into that squat and standing it up. So that's all we're doing here. If you have 2 weights and you want to hold them on the shoulders, you can do that. And then we're gonna hold on to the weights and you can do a goblet press again or have the weights on the shoulders. Let's move on to your lateral reach. Starting back at the top. So you can again hold it right here, pressing those weights together. Or again, if you have that one weight, you're gonna do goblet hold. or weights on the shoulders for some reverse lunges. So you pick there, you're gonna step it back and alternating here. Keep that front knee right over that front ankle. So if you're goblet holding, it's in front here and back. So that's station 2. For station 3, you're moving on to your squat and twist for your warm-up. For station 3, we're gonna do a bent over row first. So feet are hip distance apart. Shift your hips back, bend your knees, palms are facing each other, and you're making sure not to round your back at all or kind of hunch. So proud chest, tuck under that tailbone, shift those hips back, and we're going to elongate those arms, squeeze. Think about the shoulder blades squeezing together, keeping the arms tight to the side for that bent over row. And then we'll work with high pulls. Move on to your skis. So for those high pulls, palms are facing you, facing your thighs here. You're gonna lead with your elbow. A lot of times people wanna go elbows out to the side, but we want your palms to stay facing you and your elbows to lead. You're gonna work your upper back there for those high pulls. Then we're gonna set those weights to the side and work on some push-ups first. So for your push-up, try to make sure your hands aren't way out in front of you there. You want them more underneath you. Move on to your star jacks. You're gonna kind of tuck up under with the core, lower hips and chest together, and then press up together. Try to make sure you're not dipping here, or sometimes we get one of these going on. That's kind of in between an inverted shoulder press. So we wanna try to lower and raise together without leaving those hips behind at the bottom. If you're doing the same thing off your knees, just make sure your knees aren't tucked up under your hips. They're farther back, and you're coming kind of forward and through the hands. So if you were to pick up your hands with your chest on the ground, you're moving on to your lateral reaches. Your fingertips are at your shoulders or behind them, not out here. So that's gonna be your push-ups. Then we'll flip it over for the last one, bicycle crunches. Getting a full extension of the leg, full bend, and then that twist, peeling that shoulder blade up off the ground. All right, and that's everything. So let's get set up. We're gonna be down on the floor for the first couple exercises. So 35 seconds is going on the clock here. We don't need our weights for the first 2. So 35 seconds. Here we go, everybody, for those cobras. Bend the knees. We're going around in a circle one way, then the other, either a sit-up or a crunch. Ready, set, here you go. Come on down, take it up and around. You can kind of use your arms for a little reach help here. If you need to change the width of your knees or your feet to help you, you can. And remember, you're trying to keep the abs engaged the whole 35 seconds. So if you're doing the crunch version, you're still gonna circle your arms around. Try not to release here and let those ribs come up. Press them down into the mat, navel to spine, up and around for that crunch or that sit up. Keep it and keep going. Last few seconds. All right, let's flip it over. We're gonna do that high plank, touching opposite hand to opposite foot, feet are wide. Here we go, starting that high plank, right hand to left foot and back to that high plank. Then left hand to right foot and back. Good. Try to find that nice flat plank. You're not dipping your hips down. Come on up. That's gonna put strain on your low back. Hands go right underneath the shoulders when you're in that high plank, and then you shift those hips up, straight legs. So you're an upside down V. If you need to reach towards your knee, you can. Doing great here, 5 more seconds. Reach for it, come back to that plank, almost there. Woo! All right, let's flip it over again. We're getting those cobras in. Bend those knees, plant those feet. Let's circle it around. There we go. So you're kind of rotating, if you're doing a full sit-up, onto your glutes. Go center onto the other glute, or outside of the hip there a little bit. And circle it. We're doing the Cabbage Patch dance move. Oh yeah, good. Nice. Okay, if you're doing your crunch, the smaller range of motion, no problem. Still getting that circular motion in. Try to make those circles to the right and the left, same size. 3 seconds. Around. Woohoo! Nice one. Let's flip it. We got 3 rounds to do. We're almost done with number 2 here. Wide feet, hips up. If you need to modify this one further, then go ahead and be in a kneeling plank position. Then pick up those hips a little bit. Reach for your knee, opposite hand to opposite knee. You can work your way up to the other one. You're gonna get a lot more out of it if you're in that high plank position with the knees up, but you gotta start somewhere. 11 seconds, woohoo! Yeah, we're going for it today. I like it. It's a good way to start off the stations here. Almost. Let's flip it for the last time. Get our little cobra snake on. Full sit up in a circle or a crunch. Let's go. Circle it around one direction and then the other. Trying to keep those feet down. Nice. It's like a circle sit up here or a circle crunch. So if you're doing that one, circle it around and come back. Try not to let go and release. The back loses contact with the floor sometimes. The ribs come up. Keep them down. Press down. Navel to spine. So your back is supported. Abs are working the whole time. Up and around. Last few seconds here. Woo! All right. We got our last high plank toe touch. Hands start underneath the shoulders. Feet are wide. Take the hips up with those straight legs. Come back. Make sure you hit that nice flat plank. If you're not sure if you're getting that nice flat plank in between, find a reflection, a mirror, or have your workout buddy next to you tell you, hey, are my hips too high or too low? Do I seem flat? All right, here's your home stretch. 15 seconds or less. You got it, everybody. We're ready for a brand new station coming in next. Woo, keeping that hustle on. 5 more seconds. Bring it up, bring it up. There you go. Woohoo! All right, she woos, she hoos. She woohoos. Grab that sip of water. We're gonna work with our weights next for goblet squats. So one weight here for that goblet squat, or you can press 2 moderate weights together. You're welcome to do that. Or have the weights on your shoulders. Your choice here. Okay, ready in 5 seconds. Let's go for those squats, everybody. So press those weights together, or you have a goblet hold, and we're just doing squats here. So if you're new to squats, you wanna make sure you sit your hips back and press into the legs, stand on up tall. Make sure you're not rotating your hips back. You still wanna tuck under your pelvis, squeeze your glutes and your core to start, and then let those hips go back. It's definitely a learned motion. Make sure your knees aren't going in. You want your knees tracking out over your toes. Feet are about shoulder width apart. Almost there, 5 seconds. Good, if you know how to squat, you can pump it a little bit more. Get that full range of motion. All right, reverse lunges. So you can hold those weights at your side or that goblet hold again. Step it back. Find a good pace for yourself. If you're learning your lunge form here, then you're gonna need to slow it down because you don't always know which depth to step back. If you're too narrow, your front knee is definitely gonna go out over your front toe. So you wanna make sure you step back enough to where you can bring that back knee down and keep that front knee right over the front ankle. Good. Back of the heel, back heel stays up. Good work. We're rocking it for 35 and we're done there. Round 1 done. Let's go back to those squats. So you can get your goblet hold on again right here. Or if you have one weight, goblet hold is here. Meaty part of the palm underneath the weight, shoulders down and back, and squat. Woohoo! All right, good. We're looking good here. We are hitting whatever depth you can. So some people are here. Some people try to get their thighs parallel to the ground. That's great. Other people can go deeper into it. So whatever challenges you well, go for it, guys. 5 more seconds. Keep those goblet squats going. Good. Woo! All right. It's time to lunge. You can have those weights at your side or the goblet hold. We're going backwards with that foot. If reverse lunges hurt your knees, but maybe forward lunges don't, feel free to change it or pay attention to what it is that hurts the knees and try to alter it. So if you focus on your muscles more, set yourself up and slow lower and press in. Does it feel better? In which case, think about your form change it up a little bit. It might not be something that you need to avoid, but something you can change and work through with just a little form adjustment. Here's our last time on those squats. So pressing those weights together, or if you want them over your shoulders, sit into that squat. We're keeping the chest up. Try your best not to hinge your waist, hinge at the waist and hinge forward. I should be able to read the front of your shirt here, just like we were talking about. Heels are staying down. Good. Remember, we're not rotating those hips back. Tuck it under. And that's a little counterintuitive because we still do have to sit those hips back. It's like you're going to sit in a tiny stool and you change your mind. You don't want to sit there. You can't make up your mind. You're so indecisive. Oh, squats. All right, here we go. Last time on those reverse lunges. Hold those weights how you like, either goblet style in front of the chest, at your side, or on your shoulders. So pick what works for you. Each one's going to feel a little bit different to your legs and to your upper body. So go for the challenging one if you're more advanced. Go for what helps you focus on form if you need that. Got to pay attention to what you need and give yourself that with patience. Alrighty, we're working it. We're almost done. We're going to switch muscle focus coming up here. All right. Grab that sip of water. We're going to move into bent over rows for your upper body now. If you only have one weight, you can do one arm and then the other, pass it back and forth, or you can stay on one side for one whole round. Switch to the next round, half-half on the third. Let's get those bent over rows set up. Feet are hip distance apart, little bend in the knees. Shift the hips back with a flat back. Shoulders down and back. I know there's a lot to think about on this one. Ooh. Arms are staying to the side, so it's almost like the inside of your arm is almost scraping against your ribs on the way up and on the way down. If this one bothers your back, try that tuck under we talked about. When you sit your hips back, that'll help protect you. Or if you need a staggered stance, that's another way to help protect the low back. 5 seconds here. Good work. The flatter you are, the flatter the back, the more you're working your back muscles versus your traps. Now we're moving to high pulls. So we're gonna work the upper back. Make sure palms are facing you. Lead with those elbows. If you have one heavy weight, you can change to a center grip here and do that high pull right here. Or if you have a shoulder injury or whatnot, this might feel better. Shoulders down and back still, high pull. So when you're at the top, you should note that your elbows are the first thing to cross the plane of your shoulders. Good. Bringing it up right to that chest or right under that chin. A little bend in the knees here. Whew, I feel like I'm lopsided. I'm like trying not to hit the microphone, so my one side's probably not going up as high. All right, here we go for those bent over rows. Hip distance apart with the feet, so narrow stance. Tuck up under, hips go back, nice flat back. Again, if you have a flat back here, you're trying to go parallel to the floor, you're for sure working your back muscles. Try not to let those elbows flare out. Keep it tight. So if you're up higher here, then you're going to be working your traps more right on top. So if that's a goal of yours, go right ahead. You want to get that thick neck, you go for it. Otherwise, let's get more parallel here. Whoo! Nice. All right, back to our high pulls. 2 weights or 1, your choice here. Depending on what weight you have, elbows are leading. So if you have a reflection, I got one right across the way over there. You can have a wider stance here if you want to. Whoo! Check yourself. Nice. All right, reset when needed. Good. Woo! If you have resistance bands, you could totally step on them here and hold on to them in the center and pull up. That's a great one. All right, 8 more seconds. High pull. Check those elbows. Are you leading with them? Are you focusing on that upper back? That's where it's at. Woo! Alrighty. Last time on those bent over rows, if you need that staggered stance, you could take it. Otherwise, tuck with the pelvis, hips back, little bend in the knees. We're trying not to have our angle of our neck a little too sharp, whether we're looking up or looking down. So try not to tuck the chin under or arch too much there. Nice neutral spine. Nice. Think about bringing those weights towards your ribs or the front of the weights by your armpits. That's gonna help you not put too much tension in the neck there. Lower it a little bit. Woo, good. You're kind of lowering the thought of which muscles are working and where you're bringing those weights to ease that tension. All right, you can go for a little wider stance here if you like. High pull. There we go. Hip distance or shoulder distance is fine. Woohoo! Felt a sneeze coming on. Supposed to say something random to distract myself, like say peanut butter, right? Then it'll go away. It worked. Peanut butter jelly time. Take those high pulls up. Whoo! Elbows leading. Good. Way to focus on it. All right, 7 seconds left. Take it up. We got a new station, new moves coming in. Number 4. Woohoo! All righty. We're going to put those weights to the side. Go ahead and grab that sip of water. We're going to work with push-ups and then bicycle crunches. So first one facing the floor, second one on our backs. So let's come on down for those push-ups. If you want to know where to put your hands, bring your belly down. Put those hands down. Try to make sure that your hands aren't out in front of you here. If you're here, you're in an awkward position to push yourself up and already straining your shoulders. So you want to make sure you have them farther back so you can lower and come back up. If your range of motion is smaller, that's okay. We'll work up to lower. Same thing with off your toes. Here we go, push-ups. If you have wrist guards and you need them, go ahead and grab those. Alrighty. So off the toes or off the knees, we're lowering, and we're trying to make sure that we don't come down and then leave our hips behind like that. We want to make sure they come with us. So they're going down together and up together. Same thing off your toes, down together and up together. You're kind of tucking up under, that navel's going to spine. Good work. And we're making sure that we're not twisting our fingers inward so our elbows go out. We want those elbows to go to the back corners. All right. Might be a little tough to see with those handles, so I'll show you without next time. Bicycle crunch time. Here we go. So let's have fingertips behind the ears, elbows wide. So try not to do this little baby bicycle. We want a big range of motion one. Full extension of the leg if you can. If that bothers your back, you can go a little bit higher with those legs. The more parallel you are to the floor, the tougher it is on your abs. But just watch your back. Peel that shoulder blade up. Think shoulder to knee, up. Good. Stretch it out. There you go. Woo! Loving those bicycle crunches. Crunch time. Okay, here we go for those push-ups. We're setting ourselves up to lower and raise there. Same thing off the knees. Down and up. So you want to make sure you're not turning in your hands or having the hands so wide that you have like a T with your arms. That's really going to put strain on your shoulders. So have your hands a little bit farther in, and then the elbows are pointing to that back corner. So you're making like a triangle or an A shape from the top of your head out to your elbows. So more like that. Last few seconds. There you go. All right. Push-up form and squat form get complicated. We'll keep working on them. Here we go for those bicycle crunches. We're again, wrong way. We're again pressing the navel to the spine, and we're keeping those ribs down, and we're trying to work the legs, get a little upper and lower body with a lower abs, for those bicycle crunches. You can pick up the speed if you want to. Just don't sacrifice that reach out of the leg there. And picking up that shoulder, get that big twist in. There it is. Nice work. All right, last time on those push-ups. Let's flip it and go for it right here. Nice. Ready to rock those push-ups. Good. You're almost thinking about the chest going forward and through those hands. Nice. You're gonna feel your weight going through and then coming back up. Nice. There you go. Way to work. 10 seconds left. Beautiful. Same thing off the knees. Make sure those knees aren't tucked under. Your knees are back, and you're going forward and through where the hands are. Woo! Last set of bicycle crunches coming in, and then we have a fun finisher. You might think it's fun. I think it's going to be fun. All right. Bicycle crunch time. Get it, guys. Get it. If you need to take out the twist, maybe your back is not able to twist right now, then just give me those legs. Make sure ribs are down, navel to spine. You do fingertips behind the ears. Please don't lace those fingers and crank on your neck. Space between chin and chest. Almost there. Even on both sides. Work those bicycle crunches. Yeah, that's the way. Almost there. Woo, can you tell I love those? They're great. Okay, we're gonna change the timing now. Feel free to grab a sip of water. For our finisher, we're gonna go for 30 seconds and 3 rounds. So our 3 moves we are doing, you get a little choice here. So we're gonna do some pulse squats for the first 30 seconds. So remember our tuck up under pulse squats. And you can get your thighs parallel to the ground, or you can go lower or be a little bit higher. We're just pulsing in a small range. After that, we're gonna come on down to our backs, and you can add in weights onto your hips if you like here for a hip thrust. Remember that tuck under we talked about? You're gonna do it here. So instead of being arched like this with your ribs raised, ribs are down, tuck up under, so hit the top of that glute bridge and keep that, come back down. If I were to let it go, you see that rotation happen. So full range of motion for those hip thrusts, and feet stay nice and close to your glutes here. So we'll do hip thrusts, and then we'll flip it over for a plank. You can choose whether you want to be on the elbows, on the hands, or on the knees for any of those. Okay. 30 seconds each one. We're going to go through 3 rounds. Let's start with that pulse squat in 3, 2, here we go. Shoulder distance with the feet. We're pulsing. Knees are tracking out over those toes. So we're not letting our knees pull in here. We're doing our best not to bring that chest forward. Chest is up. If you need to look at a reflection to make sure you can see yourself, that's good. If you can do this the whole time, awesome. If you take a little break and come back in, try to cut down your breaks each round. It's part of the challenge. 4 more seconds here. Pulse it out. Woo! Come on down, hip thrust. Okay, that was quick. Take it up. Remember, we're tucking under here. All the way to the top and back down. Heels are so close that we could touch them with our fingertips. Feet are planted. Balls of the feet and heels of the feet. Feet both are down. We don't have anything lifted. We're just taking those glutes up and down. Try to keep the squeeze the whole time. Try not to let it go. All the way up, all the way down. Last few seconds. All right, let's flip it over for a plank. Here we go. If you need a little stability, go ahead and separate your feet or your knees. Them being a little bit wider is going to make you feel more stable. Something you want to do here is that same tuck up under we talked about. A navel to spine, like somebody's going to surprise you and tickle you in your tummy or hit you in your tummy, and you flinch. So that same thing helps protect your low back here so you don't have dip down hips and your hips aren't too high up. You want to keep that nice high plank like we worked on at another station. All right, round 1 done of our finisher. Here we go, pulse squat. We're just going one right into the other. Bada bing, bada boom. Good, feel free to try a different range of motion. If you were a little bit higher up last time, try a lower one. Gonna feel it in different spots on your legs and glutes. Woo! All right, 11 seconds. Whew, I don't even have to get up after this one. I'll just go right into the hip thrust, stay low. Good plan, let's do this. Just kidding, it is hard to stand up after that one, but I wanted to challenge myself. So let's practice that, shall we? Into those hip thrusts, practice challenging yourself. We're doing that tilt, kind of like a dog does to tuck the tail between the legs. And that's gonna, that squeeze of the glutes, You're going to try to keep it versus release it as you lower. Keep it the whole time. Almost done with that 30 seconds. We're going to flip it over for that plank next. Heels are close, feet are down. Almost there. Woo! Do you feel it after that squat? I do. All right, plank time. 30 seconds. Elbows are directly underneath the shoulders here. We're trying not to have an over-rounded upper back, nice and flat, or collapsed. We want to make sure that we're nice and neutral in that area. Squeeze the glutes, the legs, the core. That'll help you feel supported in that plank. You can have your hands down or clasp, whatever works for you there. 5 more seconds. Off your knees or toes here. Almost. All right, let's stand it up for our last set of pulse squats. Here we go. Feet are about shoulder distance apart. Heels are down. Remember, we're tucking up under, then shifting those hips back. And try to make sure you're not bringing your knees forward, but you're sitting your hips back. 10 more seconds. Try to stay with me this whole time. Pulse squatting it out. You can do this. Give me a few more now. We're down to 5. It burns, but you can keep going. There you go. Yes, you can. Last few seconds. Woo! All right, hip thrust. Last time, we're finishing up round 3 of our finisher. Let's take it up, take it down. Beautiful. Woo! We are getting buff, people. Either maintaining buffness, getting our first initial buffness in. You guys are stronger than you think here. So, way to build upon what you got. You got more than what you know. Let's go for it. Let's keep it in mind here. Keep positive. We're going to flip it over next for that final plank. Oh, I thought I heard it. The song Fake Out. Whew. Here we go. Planking. Remember, those elbows are right underneath the shoulders, and we're trying not to have an overarch or a collapse across between the shoulders in the upper back. Tuck it up under. Nice. Try to search for imbalances here. If you feel like you're leaning to one side, reset yourself. 7 more seconds. You're either on your knees here or on your toes. Final few seconds. Hips not too high, not too low. Woo! That's the way. Good work here. Look at you go. All right. We're going to stretch it out together. Grab that sip of water if you like. Always good to stay hydrated. We're going to do a child's pose first. So knees are wide, hands are out in front of you. You can walk those fingers away. Sit those hips back. Let's keep the elbows elevated so that you can press your chest towards the floor. If you need to be in more of a puppy dog pose, like this one doesn't quite work for you, that's okay. Then bring your knees in a little bit more. You're going to keep your knees right underneath your hips and then press down. So if you need to be in a puppy dog versus a child's pose, that's okay. It might be a little bit more intense for your shoulders, to which moving your hands closer together would increase that intensity. So pay attention to yourself there. Otherwise, we're in that child's pose. If you want to check them both out, you've got a little time to do that. See which parts of you get stretched a little bit different with each one, and do the one you feel like your body needs more. All right. We're going to sit crisscross applesauce right here. And then allow yourself to come forward, round your back, drop your head. Woo! All right, that was a good one, y'all. There it is. Way to get your workout in. Anything and everything will get in your way if you let it. So putting your workout into your schedule and making it happen is not always easy. But once you get into the routine, once you find a system that works for you to get it done and be consistent with it, it does get better. So if you don't have that, keep trying at it. Keep trying to find the best way for you to be consistent. Set yourself up for success. We're switching the legs, whichever one was on top now, and we're going to come forward. It's going to feel a little awkward because it's not your natural way you would normally do it. But we're just trying to round out that stretch here. Yes, so consistency can be difficult. You want to just make sure you're doing what you can to try to give yourself that consistency. And while you're working on it, try to be the right amount of applying positive pressure to yourself and a little bit strict, and also give yourself grace. I feel like, let's go ahead and stand it up, everybody. Let's get a quad stretch in. If you need to balance on something, grab a hold. Otherwise, put your right foot in your right hand. If this is uncomfortable for your body, you can always put it on like the arm of a chair and still get a good stretch in the quad. I think a lot of times when we make little mistakes or we miss a workout or we're having trouble being consistent, we tend to beat ourselves up or have negative self-talk towards ourselves. So let's just try to cut that out. If you're continually doing that, just noticing that maybe you want to reduce that or you want to speak kinder to yourself, support yourself better. A good measure is, would you say that to your sweet old grandma or a precious little kid who's still learning and figuring out the world? If you wouldn't speak to that loved person, that innocent person to you that same way, then don't speak to yourself in that voice. You deserve to be spoken to kindly. Alrighty, everybody. You're ready to have a great evening, afternoon, weekend, wherever you're at in your schedule. Enjoy yourself. Whew, we should feel good. If you're feeling sore, keep moving. We'll see you for your next workout very soon.